Okay, I want to talk a little bit right now about a specific track from Power Windows, and that track is Mystic Rhythms. This song is a bit unusual in the Rush catalog in that it was actually given a production treatment more than once. Once by, of course, Peter Collins, who produced Power Windows, and then again on the live album A Show of Hands, where the song was re-envisioned in terms of the production, which is credited to Rush as a band. I think we can read into that it means Geddy Lee, but for the purposes of this discussion, we'll assume that band as a whole. So let's start with the version of the song that Peter Collins produced on Power Windows and take a look at maybe what he was trying to capture in his production of the song. So a couple of points about the overall approach that was taken on the album. First of all, the basic tracks were recorded very quickly and they wanted to capture a live and spontaneous feeling. The overdubs were then done over a longer period of time in a variety of different studios. The second point to make in terms of the production and the overall structure and method of the album as a whole is that Peter Collins was heavily involved in the arrangements of the songs, and that plays a key role, especially in terms of Mystic Rhythms. So with Peter Collins being in control of the arrangements of the songs, Rush was able to concentrate more on their musicianship and in putting forward the best performances they could in these attempts to capture the rhythm section in the basic tracks in a more spontaneous way. In terms of the song Mystic Rhythms, this is hugely important because what Collins and the band chose to do on this track is to process every single instrument, every single noise, every bit of audio signal through some kind of synthesizer. What they wanted to do is process all of the sounds so that what you're hearing are basically a synthesizer symphony, even though all the sounds aren't triggered by a synthesizer prop. On the live version, Peter plays only on the electronic drums. So what we have here is a combination of an attempt to capture a spontaneous performance, but also an attempt to push everything through synthesizer processing. And the statement that's being made is rather self-evident. What Collins and the band are trying to say with this track is that this feeling of mysticism, this feeling of being connected to the universe, this feeling of being connected to nature, these vague but always beckoning sensations that we have just at the edge of our dreams also extend to the digital world, also extend to the world of artificial intelligence, also extend to the sounds being made by machines. And if you stop and think about it, this is a beautiful, very poetic, very cosmic statement, and it elevates this song really high. Power Windows is a masterpiece, and Mystic Rhythms itself, within the context of that album, is one of the furthest reaching songs, and it's one of the more cosmic and experimental songs on the album, although they all sort of have that grandeur about. Now, all of that's important to say because for me, the studio version of Mystic Rhythms always felt a little bit underwhelming. It always felt like it just didn't breathe enough. Like a beautiful song, beautiful composition. I think I understood what the production was attempting to capture, and I think that Peter Collins did an incredible job of putting this track together. But when you listen to the version of it on A Show of Hands, where Rush is able to approach the production alone, and the attempt is just to capture the live performance of the song as best they can. Of course, we know, particularly in the era when A Show of Hands was released in the late 80s, 1989, there are a lot of fake live albums, so I'm not going to go too deep into whether or not there are overdubs on this, etc., etc. The point is, how is the production? How does it compare to the original? Well, first thing to note is Rush felt the need to include this on their Chronicles album. So what I feel is that they also sensed there was something that, while brilliant in the production by Peter Collins on the original version of Mystic Rhythms, there was just something a little bit off about it. The song didn't have the right lift. When you listen to the live version, you can hear everything I believe the track was supposed to be. What is the same? The same is all of the sounds are synthesized and processed. What is the difference? The difference is the track has more breath to it. There's more life to it. That spontaneity, that is present, probably the demos and the original recording on the Power Windows version just didn't make it through, just did not make it through to the final version. Now, you may disagree with this, and if you do, that's fine, and I'd love to hear your comments, because I feel that the two versions of the songs are both successful versions. I just feel that the live version is the more successful of the two, and one version isn't necessarily better than the other version. You may choose to prefer one version to the other, but they do have slightly different approaches, and I think the basic approach that was taken in the live version was to leave some space in the track. What do you think? If you have a thought on this or any other subject connected to contemporary or classic music, please comment in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.